Hi there, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 366. I'm Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph, and today is Monday, May 10th. It has been a few weeks since I talked to you last. My mom was here visiting for about a week and a half, which is the main reason I did not get to record on my regular schedule. Thought I might record last week, but I did not, mainly because I felt like I didn't have a whole lot to show you. You might think that having my mom here for a week and a half and me taking some time off of work so that I would be able to just hang out with her, which is mainly what we did. We just sort of hung out here because there was not anything else exciting to do for the most part. I had thought that I would have all kinds of knitting time. And I guess theoretically I had the time, but I just had no motivation to knit. Virtually no motivation. I think I worked on a shorty sock the entire time she was here. The same shorty sock. So, well, that's not true. Maybe it was two. I don't remember. But yeah, I don't know. My crafting energy and momentum has just been at quite a low lately. And I'm not sure why. It could be just seasonal weirdness or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, last week I just didn't really feel like I had a lot to share with you, and I wasn't in a podcasting mindset. So here we are this week, beginning of the week. I thought this would be a good time to come back and chat with you guys for a while. So let's see what we can talk about. Just as by way of an announcement, oh, here, I'm wearing my Soldotna cardi, or not cardigan, crop top. Mine isn't nearly as cropped as a lot of them were. I did make mine a little bit longer, but this is my Soldotna. It's a little chilly today. The weather just does not know what it wants to do, which is very frustrating. So yeah, anyway, Soldotna, I knit this out of my Beguiled base, which is my sparkly DK weight base, and I love this sweater. So warm, so comfy. Let's see, that was what I wanted to tell you that. I apologize for the last episode that was outside and it was windy that day. I did not realize that the camera was, or the microphone, I guess, was picking up the wind sound as much as it was. I didn't know that until I was editing, and at that point there was really nothing I could do about that wind sound. So I apologize if that was annoying. Frankly, it was annoying to me too when I was hearing it as I was editing, because it was like, can't get rid of it now. So obviously we're inside today. It's sunny out, but it's partly cloudy, and it's just like it wants to rain. The sun goes in, wants to rain. Nah. I want real spring. I mean, I want summer. I guess I want summer. That's what I want. Anyway, thank you for shopping my spring sale that was a few weeks ago. I think that was right after I recorded last time. So if you shopped that, thanks so much. I hope you got something fun that you're enjoying. And I will just give you a heads up that there will be a shop update on Friday this week, which is the 14th at 5 p.m. Eastern. I will talk about that a little bit more in the shop news segment of the podcast, but I thought I would let you know about it here at the top of the show as well, in case you don't usually stick around for that and you want to hear. I've got some really fun things going into the shop this week, things that I have never had in the shop before, so you will want to hear about that perhaps. Okay, so other than all that, what are we going to talk about this week? I've got some finished objects to show you, which is weird because I just told you I didn't work very much, but I have gotten things done. That's the thing, like over the weekend, suddenly I wanted to make all the things. So I do have some finished stuff to show you, some works in progress, some updates on some other projects, and what else? Oh, we're going to talk about the nature make-alongs. I have the prizes, the first two prize winners to announce for the first installment of the make-along. So that was the flora section. That's done now. We're in fauna now, but I do have the winners to announce. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Down Cellar Studio Splash Pad Party, which I am a Pro Shop sponsor for. Then I've got shop news for you, and I've got a little bit of stuff at the end to talk about what's bringing me joy lately. So let's get started with all that. First up is some finished shortish socks. Again, this is the only thing I really worked on for the most part of the last 3 weeks. If you have not watched before, I will just fill you in. I'm working on a set of 10 mismatched shortish socks. They're not totally shorty. I do have a little bit of a cuff on them, but they're the height that I like for a shorty sock. So this was the one that I was working on last time. This is number 6 out of 10. So this is the second one that I did out of my Mountain Tweed base. This is the Wild Honey self-striping colorway. So I finished that. So now I have 2 tweedy ones, and I can wear those together, socks 5 and 6. These were meant to be mismatched in that I could just grab any 2 out of the 10 and wear them together, but I seem to be wearing them in the order that I made them. So socks 1 and 2, 3 and 4, now 5 and 6. And I also have socks 7 and 8 finished as well. So number 7, this is my Winter Critters colorway, and this was out of my Squoosh 2.0 base, which is the superwash Corriedale and nylon base that I carry. And then this one is It's Wine O'Clock Somewhere, which was done on my Heavenly base, which is my MCN base. These 2 I did differently than the first 6. The first 6, this was all my basic plain vanilla sock pattern. So I'm doing 16 rounds. Well, this is how I'm doing the shortish ones. I don't usually do 16 rounds of ribbing on my socks, but I am for these. 16 rounds of 2x1 ribbing, followed by 18 rounds of stockinette, and then I do my heel flap and gusset, and then, or my heel flap, heel turn, and then do the gusset decreases out to the toe. So that's how I've been doing, that's how I did the first 6. The next 2, I decided to change it up a bit, and I did the same thing, the 2x1 ribbing, but I did the ribbing the whole way down the cuff and the instep. But everything else is the same number of rounds and stuff like that. I have not worn these yet, so I can't really say how these fit as far as shorty socks. I don't have any reason to think they're not going to stay on my feet well, because ribbed socks tend to stay on my feet fairly well, better than plain stockinette socks sometimes. But I like doing those 2. Now for number 9, which is what I'm on now, I did go back to just the plain stockinette version. So this one's number 9. I feel like I've been working on this one forever. I don't know why, but I started this while my mom was still here. So it's been on the needles for well over a week at this point. Yeah, because they left a week ago today. Anyway, so this is another one of my Squoosh 2.0 skeins. This is the Awakening colorway. So this was inspired by The Force Awakens, the Star Wars movie that came out several years ago. So anyway, that's as far as I am on that. I'm done with the gusset decreases, and I'm just knitting out the foot. So then I'll have one more to do to get to my 10, and my last one is going to be out of Bounce in the chambray colorway. But who knows when I'll get to that. I think I'm going to stop after 10. That was my original goal. I'm going to take a break on the shortish socks. I am enjoying wearing them though, so I'm glad I'm making them. Especially, they're great for this time of year. I have a lot of leftovers from my leftovers because, again, if you didn't watch from the beginning of these, I'm knitting these out of my larger fingering weight leftovers, balls that were like at least 30 grams. So one of these socks takes approximately 30 grams. Between 27 and 30 is where most of these socks are coming in at. So excuse me, I am using up the majority of the yarn that I was using, but some of them were a little bit bigger. So I'm just setting all those little balls aside in my project bag, and I think at the end I'll probably try making one of my marled scrappy hats with what's left over, because I'll probably have enough for that at the end. So that's it for the socks. I'm enjoying them. I'm looking forward to continuing to wear them. The first couple pairs I've washed a couple times already, so they're getting used. Yeah, that was actually the majority of what I worked on since I talked to you last. The other thing, however, that I did pick up, really just over the weekend, I started on it again, was my Amberle shawl. The last time I talked to you about it, I told you that I had finished the 6th repeat of the shawl, the main body of the shawl, and then, I don't think I have the pattern in here, do I? I don't. Oh, wait, no. Oh, wait. It's at the bottom. This bag, which is a Bags by Awesome Granny bag, it is stuffed full of this shawl. Yeah, so here's what the shawl looks like. So hers is in gold, mine is in brush steel. But I had done the whole body, the main body of the shawl, and then I decided to add an extra repeat, mainly because I wanted to use as much of my yarn as possible. So I did that, and I think I had started the border. I don't think I got to show that to you though, because I really hadn't done much. I just did the first 2 plain rounds on that, or rows on that. So I had done that, but then I didn't work on it anymore because it had a different stitch pattern than the main part of the shawl, and I just didn't have the brain power to try to do that while my mom was here, and you know, have it be conversation kind of knitting, you know, visiting knitting. So, but I have done it since then. And most of this I have done, I would say the last 3 out of these 5 repeats that are on here, I did this weekend. And honestly, once I got through the first one, I realized it was not that difficult. I could have very easily figured this out and done it while my mom was here, but I'm enjoying it a lot. And I really like this texture on this one. I like the body one too. It's a little bit more simple. Quite honestly, I would have liked the whole thing out of this, I think. But this one is a little more labor intensive to do than the one that was on the main body, because this one has a lot more wrapping going on, and then you're dropping extra wraps and things. It's not hard. It's just like right now I'm at a point. Yeah, I think I'm at a point because I'm adding an extra repeat to the border as well. So I'm at the point where I've gone through and I've done the row that you add all kinds of extra wraps to your stitches as you're making them. So it's really, really jammed on this needle. I never did put it on a longer needle, and at this point I'm not going to. So I think I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 more rows to do in this last repeat that I'm putting on here of the border. And then I think there's like an eyelet row that you do before you bind off. So I'm really close to being done with this, and I can't wait. The yarn is my Ridgetop DK weight base. And again, the main color that I used is Brushed Steel, and then this is Wisp. And I'm really happy with my color choices. And this Brushed Steel color is showing really nicely in this light right now. It's a real soft blue. It's kind of like my gunmetal blue, except a much paler version of it. So, and the pattern itself, again, is called Amberle, and it's by Shannon Cook, and the whole project is being worked on US 7 needles. So really enjoying it. Can't wait to have it finished. It's funny, like I said, the weather's been so weird and crappy, and we've still had cold weather. The other day we had hail. Like Saturday, it hailed like 3 times, and afterward it looked like it had snowed. There was so much hail. So weird. I mean, hail itself isn't weird at this time of year, but that much hail, I always think of hail as being really short and then not lasting long. But yeah, we had a lot of hail, and it's just been cold and damp and so much rain. And so I've been wrapping up, like my Hedge Witch shawl is still out and I'm still using it and wearing it. So it'll be nice to have another nice big warm shawl for the colder times during the warmer weather, because you know it's chilly. We're up in the mountains, it's chilly all year. Once this is finished, it's going to be large enough that I'm definitely going to need to block it out on the deck though, so I won't be blocking it until I get a nice sunny day when I can put my blocking mats out there and have it dry in the sun. Hopefully that won't take too long. I think next week is actually supposed to be a really nice week, like in the 70s. It's mostly in the 40s and 50s this week, so, and rainy. So anyway, that's my Amberle. Oops, forgot to put the pattern back in the bag. At this point, I don't really need it, but that's okay. That is really all that I've worked on that you've seen before. Minor progress on my Busy Bee throw, which is turning into a wrap. I think I maybe put 1 hexie on it while my mom was here, because I was working on it outside one day when it was nice enough that we could sit out on the deck, but it was really windy and I was finding it difficult to work on it in the wind for some reason. I don't know. So I did not really put time into that. I've made absolutely no more progress on the sock tube socks. The ones that I did make though, I did give my mom because they ended up being a little too small on me, and she was happy to have them. But I have not made any more of the sock tube socks. I also did not start the second Hillia mitt. I showed you that mitt that I made using the Rusamina technique, colorwork technique that I took the class for with Alex Burke. I don't know. Anyway, I talked about that in the last podcast. I really liked the mitt, and I was going to do a second one, but I just, I chose not to. I'm not going to do it because of the yarn that I was using. I was using superwash. That's not the right yarn to do that kind of color work, or really any color work. I like the pattern. I really like the technique though. I'm in love with that technique and I want to play with it more. I would like to find another pattern to do it using the correct kind of wool, but with a pattern that has shorter floats, because that center section of that pattern had just really long floats, and even if I was using a sticky wool, I just feel like I would feel uncomfortable with that. So I don't know, but that's on my radar. I would like to do another Rosie Mina project sometime. And then no more progress on Ramona. In fact, Ramona is still sitting over here in its basket. Every few days I take it out of the basket, I try it on, and I'm like, yep, that sleeve needs to be taken out. And a couple of times I've come super close to just ripping the whole sweater out. I don't know why. I mean, the rest of the sweater fits okay. It's going to be a much bulkier sweater than I had been envisioning for the sweater that I wanted. This is not a bulky weight yarn. I would say this is I'm using Briggs & Little Heritage, which I think is classified as either worsted or Aran. I don't remember which. I feel like it's knitting up as a heavy worsted or an Aran. So it's definitely making a woolier sweater than what I was envisioning, because I was originally envisioning kind of a drapier sweater that I could wear with this one dress. It's not going to be that. And I mean, I think I knew that from the beginning with my yarn choice, but I really liked the color red that it was. So I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. I could rip it back to the raglan increases and go back and stop them sooner, which that would help eliminate that oversized sleeve issue that I'm having. I just don't know that I really want to do that. I don't know that I want to reknit all that body. I don't know. I basically am putting it in hibernation. Its official categorization right now for me is hibernating. I'm not going to think about it right now. I might want to finish it later. I might not, but I'm tired of thinking about it. And I've lost my drive to do it right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm hopeful that it'll be summer soon and I won't need a woolly sweater at the moment. Another one. All right, what else have I worked on? Oh, I do have a new cast on. Let's see, what bag is that in? It's in this bag. I actually just cast this on this morning, and it's a hat. It is called the Glass Ceiling Hat by Jennifer Lassonde, which is her newest pattern. I printed it out in black and white, so I don't know that you can see the pattern all that well, but it's really a cute hat. And I dyed up a bunch of self-striping yarn for this update that's coming up this Friday, and they're all one-of-a-kind colorways. And again, I'm going to talk about that more later on, but I had multiple skeins of the one, so I decided to use it to do this hat. So this is what it looks like. None of these colorways have names. They're all going up as one-of-a-kind colorways. They may or may not be repeated in the future. I don't know, but for right now, they're all going up as one-of-a-kind. So this is the one that I chose. I really like that green and blue and yellow variegated stripe in this one. And so that's what I'm using for this hat. The hat does call for DK, and this is my, again, this is the same yarn as my Soldotna, the Beguiled base. And so here's how it's looking so far. I really was just curious as to how this hat would play out with a self-striping yarn. So you can see that there's the ribbing, and then it does these little slip stitches that get passed over, and they do them in series of 3. So there's a series of 3 here, and then here, and then in between they stagger. So this column will stop here, and then another column starts here, and then up and over. So they go, you know, they just stagger their way up. It's really cool. I know you can't see it super well in this yarn right now. I'm hopeful that once it's knit up and the whole hat is done, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. The yarn that Jen originally used to design the hat was a very busy variegated yarn, and you can still see the patterning fine. So I'm hopeful that that will be the case with this as well. So what can I tell you? US 4 and 6 needles. Yeah, and it's very easy. The little the passed over slip motif, she does have a video, a how-to video on that to help you see how to do that. It's not difficult. It is different than any that I've done before like that, but it's fine. It's easy. So hopefully that won't take me too long to finish that hat. I'd like to have that done just because it's a nice sort of palette cleanser. Hats are always nice short projects for the most part. Yeah, so that again, that's the glass ceiling hat by Jennifer Lassonde. And like all of her patterns, she uses the checkbox method of keeping track of all of what you're doing, which makes it, I think it makes it go faster because you can check it off and see where you are. She also included charts for everything in this, so there's charts and written out instructions for this pattern. So I always highly recommend Jen's patterns. She's an excellent pattern writer. I always find her patterns very easy to follow. And very well written. So, and I adore Jen. Jen is a very sweet person. Okay, so that's that. The only other thing I have to show you crafty wise is some crochet. It was funny because while I was not at all in the mood to knit, I was really kind of wanting to do some crochet, not any of the crochet that I have on hand already, like that sweater. Remember that granny striped sweater that I haven't worked on in eons? Yeah, didn't feel like working on that, but I wanted to crochet something. So I decided that I wanted to make a pouch. Do you remember last summer when I crocheted a bunch of things for Emma for her birthday? I had done a cute little it's not a halter top, it's like a bikini kind of top, but it's a top, it wasn't a bikini. Anyway, I had crocheted that for her out of some Berroco remix, out of a red and a gold, and it was super cute. But then I also ended up crocheting a little pouch for her for some cards that I made that went with these little wooden discs that I wood burned runes in, and then I made the cards that quote collaborated that went with them to explain what each rune was and what it meant. But I crocheted a pouch to put all the cards in. So that's what I wanted to do again, except I needed to make it bigger because I had this one set of tarot cards that I have that I love the deck, but the box that it came in is super cheap and I hate it and it bugs me every time I use it. So I decided I would crochet myself a pouch for those cards, and that's what I did. So it's basically the same as the pouch that I made for her last year. It's just larger, and I did the flap differently. It's an asymmetrical flap instead of the little triangular pointed flap that I made on hers. So no pattern. This is the red Berroco remix, and I used a G hook. I think I did hers with a D, so hers is a lot more tightly woven than mine, or tightly crocheted, not woven. But yeah, the G hook worked well. I chained 15 stitches, and then I picked up stitches all along the one edge of the chain, and then I increased 2 stitches at each end, or at that end, then picked up again along the chain, another 15, and then increased 2 here. And then I did a round of single crochet straight, and then I did that again. Yes. The next one I did the 2 increases stitches at either end, just till I got it wide enough. And then I just crocheted around in a spiral. I was crocheting through the back loop of that crochet edge. I don't know crochet terminology well enough to really say it right, but that's why it looks the way it does, because when I crochet other ways it looks different, but this was going through the back loop and I kind of liked how it looked. My closure is just a little crochet chain, so it's just a chain that goes around the little button. It's just a little ceramic star button that I had, and there's the pouch. Here's the cards. This is a fun deck. I love this deck. Brian Froud did the artwork as the Fairies Oracle. Yeah, they're just really great illustrations. And the book is lovely. The book is actually, it's like a regular book. It's not just like a little paper book. I know you can't really see these because it's glaring, but the artwork is stunning. I have some of his other fairy books, and they're all wonderful. But anyway, yeah, the book for this is really nice. It's a hardcover book. It's bigger than the deck. It's not the same size. It's like, you know, like a regular book size. And the cards are really nice. That's why it just so annoyed me that the box that it all came in was really kind of cheap. So anyway, whatever. So now I have a pouch for my cards. I might sew a bigger pouch to put both the book and the cards in at some point, but that's not like high on my priority list right now. Anyway, I finished that, and I still had a little bit of the red yarn left over, and I thought, well, it would be really nice to just use this up once and for all. So I decided to crochet another pouch, and this is what I made. This is all it is. I don't have anything in it right now, and the gold is the other remix that I had, the gold remix that I used for the little tassel, because tassels. And this is just a chain for the drawstring. So the way I did this one was I started with, I forget what it's called, the magic circle or ring or whatever that you can do for when you're working in the round, and then once you get your stitches on there you can cinch it up and it closes up the little hole. I did that, and I think I started with 6 stitches, and then on my first round I went around and I single crocheted twice into each stitch, so I doubled my stitches, and then I went around once straight and then another increase round. I think I did 3 increase rounds on this one, I'm pretty sure, and then just knit it until it was as tall as I wanted. And then I did a round where I did 2 single crochets and then chained a stitch and skipped a stitch, you know, chain and skipped over a stitch, putting a chain there to make these eyelets. If you crochet, you probably know what I'm talking about. I don't really know how to describe it any better than that, but that's how I made that little eyelet thing. And then I think I did like 2 rounds of, maybe just 1 round of single crochet again, and finished. And then put my chain through there. I have no idea what I'm going to use it for. Right now it's just sort of hanging next to our window because there's like a little thing that sticks out of the window frame. I'm just hanging it there. It looks cute. So anyway, those were my crochet projects, my impromptu crochet. I really enjoy crocheting, even though I don't really understand a lot of it. I keep envisioning things that I would like to crochet, but I don't have patterns for them, and I guess it doesn't matter. I could just play with it and try to do it and see what happens. I mean, I can't, I guess what I should say is I cannot find patterns that look like what I'm envisioning. If I could, I'd be happy to buy the pattern and then try to make it. Specifically, I'm talking about tops. I have a couple of tops in my mind that I'd really like to try to make. Anyway, that's all I've worked on. Let's see. We have the Nature Mouse. That's what we're going to talk about next. And I do have the winners for the Flora section of the Nature Mouse. So Flora was March and April. Right now is Fauna, which will be May and June. But I do have a Chatter winner and an FO winner for Flora. So let me first show you the 3 prizes that the 2 winners will have to choose from. I need to get closer to you to grab them. All 3 of them are skeins of self-striping yarn. The first one, this is a fingering weight skein on my bounce base of color play number 3, which I introduced last year around this time, I think. Was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year. Time has, you know, escaped me. Anyway, this is a 5-stripe colorway, and the inspiration for this was the flowers on our dogwood tree, so, which are in bloom right now. So this is one. This is actually a short skein. It's not a full 400 gram. I think it's 90 grams, so it's about 340 yards, but plenty to make a pair of socks. So that's one choice. Next choice, this is called Bright Spots. This was my Splash Pad Party exclusive colorway last year for the Down Cellar Studio podcast, Splash Pad Party. This is also 5 stripes, but it creates a 10-stripe pattern repeat. The way it works. So lots of just fun, bright colors in there, soft, bright colors. I don't know if that makes sense, but these are, you know, not quite pastel, but they're not like in your face bold. So, and this is on Bedazzled. So that's the second choice. And the last choice is not a seasonal choice, really, but it's the last skein of this that I have on hand from last season. And this is Sugar Plumbed. I dyed so much of Sugar Plumbed last year. And this is on my Cozy base. So this is also a five stripe colorway. Yeah. So those are your three options. If you are one of the winners that I'm going to announce, please email me at fibernymph@gmail.com. Let me know your full name and mailing information, and also your top 2 prize choices. So that way I will mail you one of those 2, whichever one is still available. So, and that's, first come, first serve. So whoever I hear from first obviously gets first dibs. All right. So winners. Chatter thread first. We had 591 posts, or chatter posts, and they were all from the chatter thread on Ravelry, except one was on the thread in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works blog, which is also an option. If you don't want to be on Ravelry to do this, you can comment on that blog post. It's pinned at the very top of the blog on the website, and that will I'll add those in, any posts from there, I'll add those in when I do the drawings, which is what I did here. So we had 591 posts, and it went from post 61 to 652 with that extra one added in there. And the winner by random number generator, the winner was post number 156, who is Sarklock, Sarklock, and that is Sarah. So congratulations, Sarah. Thank you so much for participating. And please let me know, email me, and let me know what your top 2 prize choices are along with your mailing information. Okay, then finished objects. We had 87 finished object forms submitted for the Flora section of the Make Along. And that was so exciting. I love seeing everybody's projects, and those of you who are chattering and sharing your pictures through the chatter thread, that's great. Some of these entries came in that I had not seen them before, so that was really fun too to get to see them. Okay, so there were 87 forms. I did another random number generator, and it chose form number 40, who was Nicole S. And she had submitted her Ebel Choices socks that were knit out of, I didn't write down the brand of yarn, but the colorway was apple green. So that was her tie-in to Flora. And they were beautiful socks. So congratulations, Nicole. Again, please email me. Let me know your mailing info and your top 2 prize choices, and I'll get it out to you. So thank you to everybody who's been participating in the Knit Along so far, or the Make Along. And please continue to participate. We've got 2 months now of fauna. And again, I will just say what I said last time. As far as tying into the theme, be creative. Just because it's fauna does not mean you have to be knitting or crocheting animal-shaped things. They don't have to have animals on them anywhere, as long as you can tie it in. It could be maybe the color of your yarn reminds you of a certain animal's fur or feathers. It could be the name of the yarn, the colorway name. It could be the pattern name. It could be whatever works for you, whatever way you can tie it in, as long as you can make a connection one way or another, it works for me. This is meant to be fun. So I just want you to have fun, be creative, and take part. Okay, last thing in the 90% section, I just wanted to mention about the Down Cellar Studios Splash Pad Party, which I am a Pro Shop sponsor for. Well, Fiber Nymph Dye Works is a Pro Shop sponsor for. The kickoff weekend is the last weekend in May, and I will be doing a Zoom chat that Saturday, which is the 29th at 2 p.m. So I hope you'll join in. Jen will be advertising all of that stuff for that weekend, so I will put a link to the group, and I'm sure she has a page up on her blog as well. She usually does, so you don't have to go to Ravelry if you don't want to. But all the information and all of the Zoom chats and everything, because they're starting Friday evening and I think running through the weekend, all of that information will be up. So stay tuned for that and check the show notes for all that information. However, I did want to point out to you that I am working on, well, Okay, I have to find the correct bag. I've got bags everywhere. I've designed a colorway for the event. And I'm super excited about it because these are really bright, bold summer colors. And I'm calling the colorway Summer Stripes because I'm apparently not being very creative these days. But here's the yarn. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Those colors are so accurate. And I love how that white is just kind of making it glow. I'm working on this sample right now. This is a sneak peek. Like, I haven't even shown this to anybody in the Down Cellar Studio group yet. So you guys are getting the first glimpse of this. But here's how it's striping up. So there's 5 really bold colors in it. And then each bold color will be the wide stripe, and then there will be a narrow stripe of white in between each of them. Sorry, I'm trying not to cover my mouth up while I talk, and I'm bad at that. So anyway, that's what that looks like. If I manage to get the sample finished in time, I will insert a picture of it here. But if not, look for it on Instagram and in the shop. I will be putting this up as a die to order initially. And then hopefully by the time of the kickoff weekend, I will have some in stock as well. The splash pad party is only 2 months long as opposed to the pigskin party, which Jen does also, that lasts like all of football season. So it's really harder to do die to orders for the splash pad party. That's why I'm going to try to have in stock skeins for this as much as I can. But I'm going to start out with it being a die to order just because I don't have it ready yet, and I have a whole bunch of other dyeing I have to finish first. So, all right, let's move on into shop news. So the state of the studio. There is going to be a shop update this Friday. It will be Friday the 10th at, no, today's the 10th, the 14th at 5 p.m. Eastern. And this is a shop, a shop update like I've not ever done before. Hang on. All of the colorways going up into it, and there are a bunch, and I don't know how many because I didn't count, are all one of a kinds. I had a play day in the studio recently. I needed it. I needed a mental break because right now I'm working on wholesale orders, so I have to dye what's in the wholesale order. I'm doing a lot of dye to orders that have come in, so I have to dye what's been ordered. And sometimes when I have those, which those are fun, those are nice because I know what I'm doing. I'm going to the studio every day and I know exactly what I'm doing, and that takes a lot of pressure off. But sometimes when I'm doing all of that, you know, very strict dyeing that I have to do certain things, I need a break. I need a break from that. And so I decided to take a play day the other day, and I dyed all of these self-striping colorways in just random colors. Like, not totally random. I wasn't like going in blind to my dye cabinet, but like I was just putting colorways together on the fly, and it was so much fun. Some of them may someday become colorways in the shop. Some of them might inspire colorways in the shop, and if I tweak them, and some of them I may never do again. I'm considering them all one-of-a-kind colorways just for this update. And they're on a variety of bases. I keep a lot of my striping patterns in inventory on a bunch of bases so that as I need them, I can just pull from them and dye them right away, as opposed to having to wind the striping patterns as I go, because that slows things down tremendously. Having them all in inventory was especially very helpful when I was doing shows a lot. Obviously, last year and this year, not a lot of shows going on, so I have a lot of inventory that I've been able to pull from, which has been nice, but some of it, I only got like 1 or 2 skeins left of those patterns, and so I'm just trying to use those up and create fun things for you guys in the shop. I'm going to put an extra little video in here just showing you some of the colorways. I hope you will see something that you love and you can grab it on Friday. So here's what I have for you. And I don't know if you could tell from the video, but some of them, there's only 2 skeins on one base. Some of them I have a couple skeins on a couple different bases. I don't think there's any more than 4. I'm looking at them because they're all sitting on the bed in front of me. I don't think there's any more than 4 skeins of any of them, any single colorway. So anyway, it was just a lot of fun. So that's one thing that's going to be in the shop, all those skeins. The other thing I'm going to put in the shop, and this is sort of a trial thing. I've done this before in another way, but this time I'm doing it with my pie striping pattern. So, you know, my pie striping pattern is based on the number sequence in pie. And I've got a lot of pie colorways, which I've just had in the shop recently. But what I want to do is I want to offer you the chance to create your own custom pie colorway. And here's how this is going to work. I'm going to put it up in the shop, and you can order it on one of, it'll be a few different bases I'll offer it on. And you can either buy a single skein, which will come to you as a set of 2 half skeins that will be twin skeins, so they will actually match if you knit them. Usually my pie skeins, like, you get a single skein and it does not repeat because pie does not repeat, right? But in this case, if you only want a single skein, you'll get 2 half skeins that will be twins and they will match. Or if you want, you can buy 2 full skeins, because I dye them in full skeins, and since these are custom and they're only for you, they're not something I'll be putting in my shop. So you will have the choice between buying either 2 full skeins or a single skein that will come to you in 2 half skein forms. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, you can either buy that and then tell me the 5 colors that you would like in it, or you can send me a picture that you would like me to use as inspiration for the colorway for you. And it doesn't have to be at all an actual pie related, like PIE related colorway. It can be any colors that you want, that you would like in that pie striping format. I'm going to put a limited number of listings up because I don't know how this is going to go. It will be, I'm going to say, a 6-week turnaround, so please allow 6 weeks for that. And once I get your order, I will be in touch with you to talk about colors and to talk about, like, if you want to send me an inspiration picture. I will be in discussion with you about this throughout the process so that I can get you what I hope that you'll like. So anyway, that will be in the shop. The other thing going up in the shop, which I've already started putting up, is restocks of the mini skeins, because I was low on a whole lot of mini skeins, so I've been dyeing those up. So there's a lot of mini skeins being restocked. I also have notions that I've gotten in restocked, like some of the scissors, some of the 9-inch circulars I've restocked. What else? Yeah, mostly scissors and needles, I think. Oh, I did buy the little 3 needle sets, Haya tapestry needles that are got the little curve in them. I'll be putting those in the shop. I've not carried those before, but I really like those needles, so I thought I would get some in. And I also got in a restock of some of the Knit Ba Pearl greeting cards that I carry, so I'll be putting those back up in the shop. I got more of the mugs. Do you remember the I need to get my sheep together mugs that I had? I got more of those in, and I also got some in the smaller size. I also got some of these. It says lay flat to dry. These beer glasses, which I just use for water or whatever. I just like these glasses. And I also got some stemless wine glasses. So I'll be putting all of those up in the shop. I just love her stuff. I just think it's so cute. So anyway, all of those things will be in the shop by Friday at update time. Although those things, like the restocks and the newer stuff, that will probably be active as soon as I put it in the shop. But the yarn and the pie skeins will not be active until 5 p.m. on Friday. All right. Other than that, in the shop, or in the studio, I'm working on getting any dyed orders that came in during the virtual Allentown. I'm working on getting those done, as well as any other custom orders that I've gotten in since then. And like I said, I have some wholesale orders that I'm working on, and all of that stuff needs to be out of here by the 21st. So I'm working really hard to get that stuff out. And after that, then I'll be working on other things, because there's never a shortage of things to do. Okay, that brings us to what's bringing me joy. Since I talked to you last, my mom has been here. I told you that. That was a very wonderful time. 10 days with my mom. We didn't do anything super exciting. We did go out for Bill's birthday. He had his birthday while she was here. So we did go out to dinner one night, which was weird because we have not been out to dinner at all since prior to the start of the pandemic. And so going out and sitting around other people in public without a mask on, it was weird, but it was fine. Someday maybe it won't feel weird, but right now it does. So we did that. We mostly just hung out at the house, and that was nice. I wish it would have been nicer outside because we could have gone kayaking or we could have gone hiking or something, but it was cold and damp, and even on the days that it wasn't raining, it was muddy. Bill did plow or rototill the garden while they were here, and her husband helped like rake stuff out and everything. So that got done, but it's like the next day it started raining, and it's pretty much been raining almost every day since. And again, on the days that it's not raining, it's too wet to do anything in the garden, so I haven't gotten anything planted yet. That will bring me joy once I'm able to start that, but right now, not so much. The other thing that's bringing me joy, quite honestly, and this might seem silly, is Schitt's Creek. Have you watched Schitt's Creek? I know I'm really late to this party, but it's so funny. Emma got me started on it, and that's actually what I did yesterday. Mother's Day, that's how I spent my afternoon. She and I were in her room watching Schitt's Creek, and I was knitting on my Amberle shawl and just laughing. Fun show. What else? Nothing much. I have some new books that I've gotten recently, but I don't think I'm going to talk to you about those today because I haven't read through many of them. The only one I will mention here, let me grab it, is this one, Broken in the Best Possible Way by Jenny Lawson. I haven't actually read it, but I've listened to it because I also got the audiobook. I got the hardback because I did, she's doing this virtual book tour in association with some indie bookstores. And so one of the first ones was a Zoom with her and Neil Gaiman. And I can't remember the bookstore that was sponsoring that one, but as part of your purchase, your ticket price for that, you got a signed copy of her book. So I have this, and it was good. I really liked, I'm totally blanking. Her second book, like Let's Pretend This Never Happened, was her first book. I really liked that. The second one, what can't I think of? I literally have listened to it probably 24 times, and I just can't think of it. But anyway, I'm looking to see if the name of it's in here really quick so that I can remind you of it, because I'm sure you Furiously Happy. Anyway, I loved Furiously Happy. This one's different. I like it, but it's different than Furiously Happy, but it was good. And I love the cover, the embossing on the inside of the hardcover inside the dust jacket. Isn't that cool? That's her little logo. Anyway, I really enjoyed that. So that will be my one book recommendation if you like humor and don't mind swearing and can laugh at mental health issues, because she does. She has them and she laughs at them, and you kind of have to, when you struggle with depression or anxiety or, other issues like that. Like, you kind of have to learn to laugh at them while you're dealing with them. At least that's from my experience. Anyway, that's about it. I'm going to go, and if you have any questions about anything I talked about, feel free to leave them in the YouTube comments. I know I'm behind in replying to YouTube comments, but I will try to rectify that soon. I just hope you have a really good week. It's Monday. Monday's always a day full of potential, I think, for the rest of the week. So I hope you have a really good week. I hope your days are bright. Even if it's not raining, I hope you can find some bright spots in there. And I will talk to you again, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, and it won't be 3 weeks again. So anyway, take care, and again, I'll see you at the shop update, or I'll just see you around. Take care. Bye.